Tonka steel class.
The last thing a 5-year-old playing with a Tonka truck is thinking about is where the parts for their favorite toy are made. But come Christmas time, it may be a major concern for parents.
With 54% tariffs on production from China, that toy will be $45 this Christmas.
The Tonka truck is just one example of the major price shift expected in the wake of President Trump's tariff play. Companies will now have to pay more to import cell phones, sneakers, home goods, and yes, toys. Trump argues ultimately consumers and American workers will benefit.
We're not going to lose $1 trillion for the privilege of buying pencils from China.
But in order for the average consumer to benefit, the entire world economy will need to be flipped upside down.
The manufacturing hubs that exist in other countries don't exist here in the U.S., at least not yet.
The Trump team's goal is to balance the amount U.S. consumers buy and sell with other countries, a complicated task because American consumers depend on foreign goods. For example, the U.S. gets 97% of its clothing and shoes from other countries. CEOs say making goods here would be a major shift.
We're not in the manufacturing business. If that was available here in the U.S., we'd be open to it. It would take years.
Across industries, ramping up that type of production in the U.S. would be incredibly costly. Take, for instance, the iPhone, built with more than a dozen parts sourced from countries like Taiwan, South Korea, Japan, and of course, China. A 54% tariff could cost an additional $300 per phone. The White House trade advisor pressed on Fox overnight.
Are we going to make iPhones in the United States?
Some of what we're going to do. Yeah,
we're
going to be able to do it through more automation.
But for now, manufacturing is much cheaper in other countries. Apple has yet to say how they will handle those increased costs. The Trump administration is convinced the president's plan to implement what they call reciprocal tariffs will ultimately pay off. But this morning, one Biden administration official whose work the Trump team used to calculate its tariff rates, writing, quote, "Our findings suggest the calculated tariffs should be dramatically smaller, perhaps 1/4 as large." Brett Neiman also arguing that trade imbalances between countries may be reasonable, saying that, for example, Americans spend more on clothing made in Sri Lanka than Sri Lankans might spend on American goods, which makes sense considering the wealth differences between the two countries.